finished with their little opening arguments, and then it was like, all right, this is what's up. And when I tell you that man stood up and he preached, he didn't even do, because he was Australian and he's talking like this, and he's doing what he's doing, and Bill is like, you haven't proved anything. He's trying to do like the jokey joke, and we're like, this is serious, Bill. And he said, can you just tell me, show me one book that can tell me. And the guy was like, well, no, sir, there's a book that tells you everything. And everybody was like, oh, it was like starting to get really good. But he said in one of his statements, he's like, I'm just really uncomfortable, and it's unsettling that people are going to be punished because they don't believe what you believe. That's the part that people don't want to receive. That it's your choice, but just know that your choice is going to come with a not so favorable consequence. People don't want that part. They do not want hell. Everybody wants heaven, everybody wants Zen, they want nirvana, they want all of these wonderful things, but they don't want hell. And how can you have a heaven, you know what I'm saying, without there being a possibility for punishment? If this is blessing, there's punishment. And Christians have the obligation to say not only that I'm a Christian, but Christians have the obligation to tell people the absolute truth. We cannot judge anybody, because we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, all of us. But you can say what you are and what you aren't going to do. And we are so passive. We can cut up in a movie theater. We can cut up if somebody step on our shoe. Yeah, we acting stupid in this Chipotle. You know what I'm saying? We know how to be vocal on everything else, but when it comes to what we believe, we get real withdrawn and subdued and real quiet, and we just nod, or we act like we don't hear the conversation about. You hear them talking about what people believe, but you standing right there and you won't say anything. We get real quiet about that stuff. And God is saying it's the season for Christians to come out.
It's probably because there's no schema for it. You have a schema for acting the fool in Chipotle. You have a schema for acting the fool in the movie theater. But there's no script that says when this person challenges your belief, you do the same thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, that's for Christians. It seems like that's something for Christians. But guess what? Other religions, they're ready to tell you about this stuff, and they do not. They don't have any reservations about. Well, that's wonderful. I see what you believe, but I believe in Lord Satan.
Wait a minute.
And yeah, we're like.
And then there's also the idea of punching down. When 80% of this country believes that they're Christian, they believe that they pray to one God.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So as that majority, if you confront the minority too hard, you're punching down.
Well.
And nobody wants to punch down.
I don't care.
In this, people believe they're.
It's okay for the minority to punch up. It's not
most
okay
people
to punch
today
down.
say they believe in something.
Right.
They believe in something, some higher power, or something. Even Katy Perry says she believes. Now she's the daughter of a Baptist preacher. She was raised in church, went to vacation Bible school, went to all of that stuff. But she says, I now believe in higher power, and she believes in all these other kinds of things, but they're just not God. And they're vocal. She has a platform. You see that? Mm-hmm. She's a celebrity. So when she says that, it goes out. When Tom Cruise says he's a Scientologist, when you got Jada Pinkett and Will Smith talking about their best friends, and they might be having some meetings and going through things with Scientologists, people listen. Who else has an open religious whatever, even if it's a wrong one? Oprah, boom, that's a good one. Oprah Winfrey, she is.
Chris Tucker, same way too.
Straight up.
Chris Tucker's Christian though.
Yeah.
But he's a Christian. Yeah. His mama's an evangelist right now at the church, in the Grand Old Church of God in Christ. Oh. So he knows.
I know that.
He knows the hard stuff. He knows holiness of hell. But I don't know where he is right now. But people, when they have a platform, the only reason God gives you a platform is so you can say something about him. But of course, because the enemy counterfeits, he gonna give his people a platform and make sure they say, oh no, Lady Gaga has one of the biggest platforms. I haven't even heard of her. Where is she right now? Have you heard of her like you used to? Remember she like blew up, like it was like everything was Gaga and everybody was like, she's crazy. Mm-hmm. But now she's real quiet.
Probably working on something.
Possibly. You know,
Grow
and
up and deflate. And
if you become anything in life and God gives you your 15 minutes of fame, it is our obligation to say, Jesus Christ is the only way. And that man in that debate, that's what he did. He stood up and said, okay, well, these are the origins of the earth. This is what I believe. But in all through his thing, he said, God loved us so much. He gave the straight up gospel. So even if people thought Bill Nye won, he used that one moment that he may never have again to say, Jesus loves you. He thinks you're special. He's coming back. He sent his son Jesus, who died on the cross, who rose again from the dead. He gave the full gospel. And Bill Nye, he was trying to hang in there, but he was just like, at the end, he started getting Bill real good. And Bill left, with a smirk on his face, but it was a victory for Christians. But he's only one. We have a platform every day. I actually sat down and I thought about all the spheres of influence that I have. How many people can you relate to just by being who you are? I'll start, so you'll see. I'm a female, so it's a good chance that I can have influence on women because I understand women. Possibility, right? Mm-hmm. What else am I? I'm a mother. I'm a mother, so I could talk to other mothers. That's a sphere of influence. That means these are people who might listen to what you say. Mm-hmm. Based on your success, you know what I'm saying? Who else? What am I? What else am I?
School teacher.
I'm a school teacher. So who do I have influence over? I have influence over children. I'm also a professional. So not only am I a school teacher to children, but I have colleagues, and because I'm a teacher and I'm in the trenches with them, I got influence over them. How many? Count them up. See how many spheres of influence. You are female. You're male. What else are you? You are. What else do you do?
Does teenager count?
Yes.
Yeah. School.
Because there's some people who might listen to another teenager who may not listen to somebody who's not a teenager. You see what I'm saying? That's your sphere of influence. What else? Because I want you to see how many people you can actually impact. Your sphere of influence. So you're a female. You're a teenager. What else are you?
I'm black.
You talk to? Huh?
I'm black.
You black. You talk to black people. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is for the gospel because we're doing these things for other reasons. But God is like, I made you who you are with a purpose so that you can touch all those types of people. You black, you talk to black people. What else are you? Y'all think I'm so serious. That's so serious. You can talk to black people. Well, somebody else might come in like, here's an example. Maybe I shouldn't use this example because
use it. See, now you already started.
Use an example. I'll keep it light. Use an example. You call somebody else the N-word.
I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You call somebody else the N-word. You're like, oh, well, look at you. Somebody else coming up with a different persuasion and call you that. What you just say? Because that person has no influence on that level. Mm-hmm. You hear what I'm saying? So here we are. You got female. You're a teenager. You black. What else? What else can you? You a musician. You can talk to other musicians. They'll sit down with this man and somebody who can't play. What you play? Oh, I don't play anything, but I'm just saying I think you could do it this way.
I hate when people do that.
At that point, I don't even hear what you're saying. We just look at other musicians like, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he has influence over other musicians. Who else do you have influence over?
I got a weave.
What?
That matters, okay? Okay. No, I'm explaining to you.
How does that feel? I gotta weave.
It matters. No,
I wear Nikes.
Let's talk about
it matters. Because if some woman comes to me with her locks down her back, who has never had a weave in her life, telling me what weave can and cannot do to my head, I'm gonna look at her like she crazy.
Okay.
Because I have one. I know how weaves operate with me. Like the natural perm argument.
Right.
I've been on both sides, so I could say, natural hair for me, permed hair for me, weave for me.
Right.
So like,
but you can have a discussion. You can have a conversation with people.
So don't laugh at me.
You know what I'm saying? Team natural. That's a whole other different kind of discussion because we could talk about. You go online. You trying to figure out what conditioner you can mix up in your kitchen. You know what I'm saying? You trying to figure out how you can twist it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a conversation that we can have, and what we're talking about is because really, if you're trying to talk to somebody about Christ and they don't ever talk to you on like a regular basis, they can be like, okay, I don't know you. You know, you just walk with somebody, you know what, you need Jesus, you are going to hell. And I just
Yo,
I would be hurt about you. Ma'am, I don't even know you. Get your hands off of me. Do you see what I'm saying? Automatically going there.
my sister's principal.
Oh God.
My sister works at a junior high school now, and her principal is a friend of hers, and her principal's daughter
Also goes to the school.
also goes to the school.
I know what you're talking about.
I wound up telling one of her friends who's
Her
like
Muslim
Indian.
friend.
Yeah, is she Muslim? I
She
thought
Muslim.
Okay.
It was some situation.
That since she doesn't believe in Christ, she's going to hell.
That's what she's
And
straight.
the
She's
little girl started
like
crying.
12, 13 years old. And she straight said, but she was coming to her like as a friend. She didn't know. She's like 12, 13 years old. She's like, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. And she said it like
She's sobbing.
She's sobbing. She's crying for her friend. And this other little girl starts crying. She's like, what do you mean I'm going to hell? And it's like this whole big old
You
mess.
see, so approach matters. It does matter, and relationship does matter in the grand scheme of things. Now, there are going to be times where you're going to have to talk to people who you don't know, and if they ask you, I mean, you can't take it out of the book. It's the truth, but it's how you do it. When you do things in love, you do actually. It is love does draw better than. Oh, I ain't gotta talk. You know it, boo boo. You on your way to Crispy Town.
I would be hurt.
Listen, we don't have to have this argument. Black. We don't have to do all that. You know
I would be so hurt. Oh my God.
Oh, you still talking?
That'd be hilarious. I'd want to see that on the big screen.
I'm sure I'd tell somebody that one day.
On their way to Crispy Town.
We gotta get you down. You know, you don't have to do that because people don't hear you. But if we could just start somewhere and just at least let people know what we believe and not be so silent and invisible. I mean, so we like, anybody seen Turbo?
Yeah.
Y'all haven't seen Turbo?
That movie's awesome.
Turbo's good. I saw the Lego movie this weekend.
I wanted to see
It's
it.
beast.
That's an old movie.
Yeah, Turbo is actually an old cartoon movie.
But the Lego movie's good.
Oh, like Silver Costume.
I'll see it.
It's a snail.
Yeah.
It's a snail. Who
They like gets charged
That
up.
one, yeah.
There's a character
Yeah, he
on there,
racing
it's a snail
cars.
called White Shadow.
Oh my God.
He's a big fat juicy
Yeah.
shadow. He's like, White Shadow. And they're like, we can still see you, White Shadow. White Shadow. You know, it's like White Shadow. And it's like, you try to be invisible, but we still see you. We okay, you going to church, we keep asking you, you know, why you not smoking nothing? There you go. I just to the left, you know what I mean? And if I'm passing it and you're not taking, you're like, no, thank you. And everybody else is passing, it comes back, no, thank. People are gonna wanna, why aren't you doing it? What you gonna do? You gonna tell somebody? You know, no,
You a cop? You gotta tell me if I ask you if you're a cop.
you know what I'm saying? Students always wanna know, Ms. Russell is the purple. We know because she got another life. And I do, that's what they're like, nah, you can't do that, Ms. Russell class, because you don't know what she fed. They don't know. You know what I'm saying? People need to know who we are. Some of the things that we're tempted by can be stemmed. They can be at least reduced if you're tempted to cuss, right? If you know people make you mad and you're tempted to cuss. And everybody around you is cussing. If they knew you were a Christian for real and you were really trying to be a Christian, if they could, oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I slipped out. But if they don't have, if they feel like they ain't gotta hide nothing and they just pouring it on you, and I don't give a, and they going, guess what? It's going, because they don't know they shouldn't do that around you. And you haven't put any, this is what we talked about last time, we talked about boundaries. Oh my goodness, last class was so good. We talked about boundaries. If you don't have no boundaries and say, okay, this is what I am, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and this is what I don't do. If people don't know, it's not their fault. They're just doing them. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing what they do. If you don't say, can you not? When you say, can you not? They're going to ask you, why not? Why can't I? There's your open door. I know I used to lie, but I'm trying to do better now. What you mean trying to do better? Oh, you saved now. Oh, you saved. Oh, again? You saved again this week? Oh, okay. Give you to a Friday. You know what I'm saying? People try, they'll take you there, but at least if they know, I'm not even gonna offer no drink. She ain't gonna drink, y'all. Don't offer her nothing because she's not gonna drink it. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. If people just at least knew that they shouldn't offer it. Why? Because we have to say something about Christ. Here it is. This is the scripture that we start on. Jesus said, if any man's gonna come after me, he needs to deny himself, take up his cross. That means we talked about suffering. When you identify with Christ, he said, they hated me. You know they gonna hate you. They hated me. The world hated me. I didn't do anything but good. I never sinned, and they hated me. So you know, with all your stuff, and they know your stuff, they gonna hate you too. The minute you try to say that you're a Christian, you have to take it up. He said, you still need to be willing to go down for me if you have to. And he'll never let you fall to the point that you can't get back up. But you're gonna lose some friends. You're gonna shed a few things. You know what I'm saying? You are. But he's saying, I just need people who are willing to take up their cross and follow me. Nobody wants to argue about it. Nobody wants to seem like the bad guy. Nobody wants to be the voice of reason in this culture. And we have to be, if we sit in Bible study every Tuesday, we got to tell people about Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna move from that. Because I don't want us to be closet Christians anymore. Did a little bit of research. Since the title of what we're talking about is called Outed. Coming out. That's kind of risque, because people are like, what they talking about in the church? Coming out. Christians coming out and being visible and vocal. Like the Muslims who don't mind putting their mat down 3 times a day, no matter where they are, and praying.
I thought it was 5 times.
Probably is. 5 times.
I think
5 times.
Oh, they pray for like an hour though.
And they going in.
I ain't doing that.
The head's on the ground. They going in. We got 30 minutes of church. We blown. We can't. Praise the Lord. Wow. You see what I'm saying? They 5 times. 5 times. Whatever it is. They got their head on it. They going up. They in. They going in. And they getting word. They
throwing mud on that side. I seen my friend do that. Throwing mud all on his body.
And fasting. They're not just walking around with a Quran. No, they're not just covering. Ladies not just covering their face.
Oh yeah.
They don't play that.
On pork, yeah.
And they're visible and dare you to say something. I have a friend who's a missionary right now in Iraq. Is that right? Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. Who's a missionary, and her family are over there. And they said it takes a minimum of like, I think they said.
So you back then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're back there in the back. A minimum of, I think he said 7 to 10 contacts before you can even try to say something about Jesus. Meaning, don't even try it on the first time you meet somebody to say something about Jesus. They say you just need contact, at least 7 to 10 contacts. And I'm trying to make sure I got that number right because it might have been 70. But he was just like, just being able to approach them. How you doing? Hey, just having nothing to do with religion. Just talking, how you doing? What you need? 7 to 10. I want to say he said 7 to 10, but it sounds like it's a bigger number before you can even attempt to sit down with them to have a conversation about Jesus Christ, the Son of God. When they say Allah has no son, you have to have contact with them like frequently before you can even bring it up, because they immediately become resistant, some defensive, and depending on who it is, it could be hostile. And that's somebody in the trenches. Sold their house over here.
Oh, wow.
Good house in Anne Arundel County. Beautiful house. Of course, you know they're of another persuasion. I wish many more black people. Black people don't do that. We ain't selling nothing. Nope. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I'm sure there are out there in the internet world. There may be some people, but we don't hear of a lot of black people selling their house in Perrywood to go live in Africa.
I know, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? They're not letting Tantalian. They're not leaving Tantalian. They're not leaving Potomac and selling their house and going to Africa. But they sold their house. They had 1 child. The child was a baby. They said, she's going. We're taking her over there.
So they're going to Saudi Arabia like forever?
They come home like sometimes for the summer. But they stay out there.
they come home
risking their life. Risking their life. They go over helping do things. And then they do as a ministry after so many contacts. They put their neck out and tell people about Jesus. They went on a mission trip. She said, we went on a mission trip one day and we were just lying in the bed and we heard the horns coming across the city. Ah! You know, and they heard the people praying for the prayer. Everything shuts down for the prayer. And she said she was there. And she said her heart just began to break because all those millions of people out there were dying without Christ. Sold everything. Her and her husband went over there. I'm like,
I remember when I was a kid, I went to Egypt. I was like 11. And there was like, I don't remember if it was a horn or a bell or whatever, but whatever they were doing, they stopped. Even if they were driving, traffic stopped.
Everything.
And people got out on the street and put out their mat and prayed.
You stop everything. Would we be willing to be that open?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's necessary. It might make us uncomfortable. It might get some people. It might get some of us.
Hold on, you said they stopped everything.
They stopped everything. They stopped traffic.
That's
Like everything.
Like everything.
So if somebody is coloring my hair, I gotta stop for an hour and sit with the color in my hair while we praying.
Don't have a perm. Don't have a perm in it.
It ain't a perm. It's color. It's different.
Don't put right. If you got a perm in it, we got to stop.
I already said I'm black, so like so you gotta stop.
You stop. I mean, it's just like on base when we lived and went on base when I lived in Italy. Many years. When you on base and they start playing it,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock,
You gotta get up. You on the parking lot, you gotta stop right there.
you stop right there.
You
don't
gotta stay
move.
still.
You gotta stay still. That's real.
And do what?
Just stay there until the music starts. I be like,
Into
into a door.